Hey guys, it is Brianna and I cannot believe it is already August. Of course, right as I start filming this, there are many construction and truck noises coming from outside my window, so please ignore that as best you can. I apologize. But as it is the beginning of a new month, we are going to recap all of the books that I read last month, and I'll give you a little bit of a review on each of them. I read a total of 4 books this month, and the first book that I read is called Educated by Tara Westover. It was published in 2018, and it is 334 pages, so the perfect page count, in my opinion. I don't have the hard copy of the book with me right now because I actually lent it to my mom because I loved it so much and I thought she would like it. So instead, I'm going to read the description off of Goodreads on my phone. Tara Westover was 17 the first time she set foot in a classroom. Born to survivalists in the mountains of Idaho, she prepared for the end of the world by stockpiling home-canned peaches and sleeping with her head for the hills bag. In the summer, she stewed herbs for her mother, a midwife and healer, and in the winter, she salvaged in her father's junkyard. Her father forbade hospitals, so Tara never saw a doctor or nurse. Gashes and concussions, even burns from explosions, were all treated at home with herbalism. The family was so isolated from mainstream society that there was no one to ensure the children received an education and no one to intervene when one of Tara's older brothers became violent. Then, lacking any formal education, Tara began to educate herself. She taught herself enough math and grammar to be admitted to Brigham Young University, where she studied history, learning for the first time about important world events like the Holocaust and the Civil Rights Movement. Her quest for knowledge transformed her, taking her over oceans and across continents to Harvard and to Cambridge. Only then would she wonder if she'd traveled too far, if there was still a way home. So this book is a memoir, and that's not usually a genre that I gravitate towards. Typically, I read more fiction, but I do like memoirs and autobiographies every once in a while, and I heard really good things about this book, so I decided to check it out. And I absolutely loved it. I would give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was one of those books that I literally had to keep reminding myself that it was a memoir because some of the stories were so crazy that your brain just kind of switches to, oh, this is fiction, but no, this is her real life. I felt like the story was really raw and genuine, and she gave a lot of really in-depth details about her life that I appreciated. Overall, it gave a deeper look into a way of life that I think a lot of people don't even consider exists. Like, people don't realize that some individuals live this way and have grown up this way. I would pretty much recommend this book to anyone, but especially to people who are looking to learn from different perspectives. And if you're somebody who is interested in learning about alternative lifestyles, this is definitely the book for you. But to be quite honest, I think anybody would pick this book up and enjoy it. I read it so fast. It just kept me super engaged the whole time. The second book that I read this month was Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. This book was published in 2019. It is 453 pages, so it's a little bit of a longer book, but definitely worth the read. I will give you the summary. Bernardine Evaristo is the winner of the 2019 Booker Prize and the first Black woman to receive the award. Girl, Woman, Other has been named to over 20 Best Books of the Year lists, including a selection by President Barack Obama. It is a magnificent portrayal of the intersections of identity and a moving and hopeful story of a group of Black British women. Girl, Woman, Other is populated with unforgettable characters, from a lesbian playwright to a jaded school teacher to a non-binary social media influencer. Sparklingly witty, centering voices we often see othered and written in an innovative, fast-moving form, this is a polyphonic social novel by a masterful writer who has finally been lauded at the level she has long deserved. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. The reason I knocked it down 1 star is because it took me a little while to get into the format of it. It's formatted so that every section or every chapter is about a different person. And usually I don't like books that have way too many characters, but this one blended them together in a very seamless way. I think in the beginning I was really hung up on remembering the characters and remembering each individual connection between each character because they are each connected in a very small way. But then as I continued to read, I realized that it was less about keeping track of everyone and more about learning about each different character. And like she says in the back, it is definitely a book that features characters that I feel like we don't often hear from. So that was nice to get some different perspectives. I would recommend this book to people who like novels that have lots of characters, people who like books that are centered around drama, people who are looking for novels that feature characters they might otherwise not hear from, and people who are looking for awesome Black female authors. The next book that I read was The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I've read a ton of Ruth Ware books. This one was published in 2019 and it is 337 pages. Again, perfect length. It's a really good summer read because it keeps you interested the entire time. The genre is very crime mystery style, like most of her other books. I will read you the description. When she stumbles across the ad, she's looking for something else completely, but it seems like too good an opportunity to miss, a live-in nannying post with a staggeringly generous salary. And when Rowan Kane arrives at Heather Bray House, she is smitten by the luxurious smart home fitted out with all the modern conveniences, by the beautiful Scottish Highlands, and by this picture-perfect family. What she doesn't know is that she's stepping into a nightmare, one that will end with a child dead and herself in prison awaiting trial for murder. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is not my favorite Ruth Ware book, but it's definitely worth the read. Like I said, it's very much a like mystery crime, a little bit haunted novel. So if you're into that kind of thing, you will definitely enjoy this. I was really happy that I did not predict the twist ending. There is a twist ending in this book and I didn't predict it. And I find that sometimes when reading Ruth Ware books or other crime novels, I tend to figure out the twist before it happens. And this one I had no idea. It completely floored me and I really enjoyed that. I would recommend this book to fans of Ruth Ware, anybody who's interested in crime, drama, mystery genres, and anybody who's just looking for a really fast-paced, good summer read. Definitely check this out. The next book that I read is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. It is one of a 2-book series and he just released the second book. So I figured I would check out this one to see if I wanted to read the second book in the series because he's been really pushing it on social media and YouTube and stuff like that. If you don't know who Hank Green is, he is a YouTuber and brother of John Green, who wrote The Fault in Our Stars, An Abundance of Catherines, Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns, a bunch of really popular novels. So Hank Green is John's brother. This book was written in 2018 and it is 358 pages long. I will read you the summary. Roaming through New York City at 3 a.m., 23-year-old April May stumbles across a giant sculpture. Delighted by its appearance and craftsmanship, like a 10-foot-tall transformer wearing a suit of samurai armor, April and her best friend Andy make a video with it, which Andy uploads to YouTube. The next day, April wakes up to a viral video and a different life. News quickly spreads that there are Carls in dozens of cities around the world, and April, as their first documentarian, finds herself at the center of an intense media spotlight. Seizing the opportunity to make her mark on the world, April now has to deal with the consequences her new particular brand of fame has on her relationships, her safety, and her own identity. And all eyes are on April to figure out not just what the Carls are, but what they want from us. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I would probably give it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. And the reason I say that is when I bought this, I really didn't know much about the book or the series. I'm just a fan of Hank Green and I figured I'd pick it up because I liked John's books as well. What I didn't realize, it's definitely a YA novel and it leans more on the Y side. I usually don't have an issue reading novels that are meant for younger audiences, but this one I would say leans more towards like a teen-aged audience, which isn't a bad thing. I just think I'm not necessarily the demographic for it. So with that being said, I think if I was maybe a little bit younger, I would definitely have given this 5 out of 5 stars. But just where it didn't really fit with my age group and the type of book that I'm interested in reading, I would definitely give it like a 3.5. But I still did enjoy it and I honestly probably will read the second one just because I'm curious what happens after this story. And I can't imagine it's a much longer book than this. This one's only like 350 pages, so I figured I'll probably read the second one. One, to support Hank because I am a fan of his, and also just because I am curious what happens because it was a good book. I would recommend this book to younger audiences, probably in like the teen age range that are interested in YouTube and science fiction. And those are all of the 4 books that I read this month. I'll give you a sneak peek at what I'm reading now at the beginning of August. I am reading The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I have seen this book all over Instagram, so I figured I would pick it up. And spoiler alert, I am loving it, but I will give you a full review of it in next month's book review video. And that's gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what books you've been reading lately. And also be sure to subscribe and like this video. And I'll talk to you later. Bye!